Hi. Morning or afternoon. I want to prime this with one piece of information from a Kaiser study that shows that students are using media almost 11 hours a day. Now, most relevant to us is only 38 minutes of that is spent with traditional text-based print media. The vast majority is with digital media. So what that tells me is that being literate today does not necessarily mean what it meant in the past. And students, by default, are utilizing many technologies and media to construct meaning in their lives. So I think the underlying leap of faith we need to make as educators is this is actually a good thing, and that we would benefit from updating our literacy pedagogy. Students are operating in a very different kind of world. And to talk about literacy is to talk about what 21st century democracy is shaping up to be. You see this in events like Arab Spring, where technology facilitates communication. You also see it in classrooms that use technology to create a more inclusive curriculum. Now, we also need to acknowledge that our students' private and public lives are not very well differentiated. And this goes directly to our curriculum development as well, which is, are we creating curriculum that's inclusive of their experiences outside the classroom or exclusive of it? We also need to recognize more than ever that how we communicate deeply affects how we represent our world and construct meaning from it. So this also means how fully are we participating in our culture and society. We can think of literacy as a repertoire of capabilities that students have so that they can use and access multiple forms of technology in meaning making. They need to be able to decode content in many semiotic systems. They need to be able to compose narratives that are meaningful in those systems. And they need to critically analyze content so that they can functionally use it across many settings. So neuroscience has given us this wonderful model of the brain that informs our behavior. I think one of the most important parts of this education is the effective symbolic limbic system that deeply affects decision making. So in education, of course, we very much value logical processes. And in project-based learning, we value experiential processes, but not so much with all of the impulsivity that motivates students and is part of the limbic system. But therein also lies the benefit of digital media. So likewise, we're also familiar with Bloom's taxonomy of educational outcomes for cognitive domain. But he also provided us an effective domain of outcomes that was meant to tie those cognitive processes to personal expression. Personal expression, Bloom said, is the highest of outcomes in education. A student that values their experience in education translates that value directly to their motivation and attitude for learning. They're already using technology in many portions of their lives. And that same technology can bridge their literacy education to their private world. So we don't know what the jobs of the future are going to be. We need flexibility in educating our students. We don't know what languages are going to be important. We don't know what technologies are going to be relevant. So above all, students need to be able to adapt. And one way to introduce adaptability into project-based learning is through a process called design thinking. So you can think of, in an academic environment, design thinking as a way for us to model our understandings of the humanities and the sciences. You can think of it as a bridge between the creative processes, creative thinking, and critical or empirical thinking. You can think of it as a way of tying the left brain, right brain, and limbic system together. And it also creates this, it allows us to create solid representations of our understanding and then be able to communicate those through many, many types of technologies and media. It also provides an iterative prototyping process that looks very much like a literacy process that you would find in text-based authoring. But most of all, it allows a student to live with the content so that they can master technical skills and they can also deepen their content understanding. So I'll leave you with this driving question, which is, if we expand our understanding of what it means to be literate in the 21st century, shouldn't we also provide new ways of teaching and assessing student mastery of literary form and engagement with subject content? Thank you.